Hello, and welcome to Girls That Love to Chat. I'm Gloria.
And I'm Rosetta. And what do we have that we're drinking today, Gloria?
Very interesting. In one of our previous shows, we talked about the Good Earth original. And as we said, Good Earth is not paying us, even though we keep talking about it.
know.
They're not paying us. And I told you that the new containers look different. And Rosetta found one of the new containers.
Yeah, that was very odd because I did not know that this was a new container for the Good Earth company.
Yeah, and you actually had this at home, which I
Yes.
thought was interesting. And when we got it, of course, you know, we're the kind of girls, we want to know what we're drinking, eating, etc. We started flipping the box around. The vintage box has nutritional information.
We can't find it anywhere
There's nothing
on this
the new box. We also found that the ingredients on the vintage box talks about the level of which items are added. It doesn't use the word organic as much as it does on the new box.
Yeah, this one says organic, caffeine-free, USDA organic with that label. The old one doesn't have that,
Yes.
the vintage one.
So what do you think of the actual taste?
So I did try this and I actually find it a bit, the taste is actually a bit stronger and the sweetness comes out more. It packs a bit more of a punch. And I actually, well, I don't really like it as much as I do like the vintage one because it's a bit overpowering for me. What do you think, Gloria?
I completely agree with you. And I think some of it has to do with the flavors. The rule of thumb when you're doing labeling is to start with the highest volume to the least. And some of the ingredients in the older vintage version were, you know, like they had lemongrass.
Yeah, so
And
that
they
one
have
says
papaya leaf
chamomile is high, rosehip is high, lemongrass.
Yes.
On the new one, chamomile and rosehip are like halfway down. There's way more ingredients on this one than there is in the old one.
So it changed the flavor. So
Yeah.
it's a little different.
It's different if
Yeah.
I mean, each to their own, but
Yeah.
I find that I don't like it because it's a bit too sweet for me.
Yeah.
And I just not a big fan of having a really big punch of sweetness, and it's quite sharp as well.
Absolutely. Especially after you drink it, it just kind of says, hello. And you're like, really?
Yes.
So today I thought, you know, there is so much going on in the world. There's so much chatter. And I thought you and I would talk about a few things. So the first one is, you know, I was trying to think, is she Princess Meghan Markle? I don't want to mess up her title. However, Prince Harry had their son, Archie.
I loved it.
Yes.
The picture that they showed was amazing. I loved how I just find Meghan just to be a joy to look at.
Absolutely. She didn't hide her baby bump. I mean, everybody, you know, after you have a baby, everybody looks different. However, most people never let us see the bump. You know, like if you look at Kate always looked like she wasn't even pregnant.
Well, Kate never had a bump.
Well,
that's probably why it never showed.
Well, and you know, Kate is, you know, very more slender, whereas Meghan has the little curvy action.
Yeah,
going
she's
on.
always been slender. She's always been slim, tall and slim, and she looks good for who. Well, you know what she is. That's her body structure and her frame.
Absolutely.
But Meghan is more like the typical woman that we see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the name Archie Harrison, Mountbatten, Windsor?
I don't know. I'm sure you people out there watching have your own opinions, but Archie, it's gonna have to grow on me, I have to say.
Yeah, I had never. If you look back into the monarchy, I've never heard Archie. It's always been like Charles,
Philip,
yes,
William,
yes,
Harry,
yes,
George is very popular.
Yes. Well, I tell you, all the people in Vegas lost a lot of money. No one had Archie on the list.
Well, that came from out of nowhere, right?
Yes.
So everyone lost money. Who would have thought, right?
Well, I think that the prince and princess are doing their part to shake things up.
Yeah, and I think they're a new chapter in the royal family. Me, of course, being from England, I'm used to having them marry into the monarchy and naming their children, you know, how it used to be in the past. Like we'd mentioned, George, Philip, Harry, blah, blah, blah. And now they're changing everything. And the surprising thing is that the Queen is okay with all of this.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she actually seems very happy. And I have a question for you, since you might have more insight for me. In America, grandparents are usually right outside the room.
Yes.
And the doctors and the nurses are trying to keep them out of the room. And I've noticed that there seems to be a manner in which Archie is being presented to the world. Like he just got to meet his grandmother and or his great grandmother, the Queen, and then he'll get to meet Grandpa and his wife. Is there something that we Americans just don't understand? I mean, why they don't just rush in the room and say, "Give me that baby"?
That's a good question to ask, and I believe, well, British people coming from England, we are not very lovey-dovey, and especially with the royal family, I believe that the Queen, yes, she has a part to play because she's the grandmother, but I think that it's been generations going on that I think the Queen or the Queen Mother, they don't rush in because they like to just give them their privacy.
Oh, that's nice.
And I think that they want to
that's nice.
keep a distance until it's their time and they're ready to do that, which is why they're allowed to, they get that signal, yes, from the mother and father, which is Meghan and Harry or William and Kate. Yes, we're ready for you to come and see the baby when they do that first appearance.
Right.
They're standing outside the hospital all nice and, dolled up and
taking the baby home.
They look like they've not even had a day of struggle in their life, right? All made up and stuff. But as you can see from this time, Meghan and Harry didn't do that. They actually broke the tradition. And all you saw was Harry. He gave a small video or whatever he did, interview with the media, but you never saw Meghan until the pictures afterwards, her in that white dress.
Right.
So I think there is a difference because the Queen is she knows her place.
Yes.
And she wants to give them space. And I think the tradition is they wait. They wait until the signal when they come out and they announce to the world or show the world, this is our baby.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I think. And I think that's true because that's what they do. And I think that's how it's going to be. But, of course, Meghan and Harry are changing everything. And we don't even know what else down the line they're going to change.
Right. It would be interesting if Archie was somehow tied to Lady Diana, because I know you miss her. A lot of us here in America had such an affinity for her because she was so sweet and so loving. I remember at one point when people were running from people with HIV and AIDS, and she would hug them and embrace them, and they thought it was going to jump off of them and onto her. And I know that Harry and William, and no disrespect, I'm not adding in the princes every time, I know that they both have wanted to do things a little different, and they want to honor the legacy of their mom. So wouldn't that be interesting if Archie was somehow tied back to her?
That would be nice. That would be really, I do miss Lady Di. We called her Lady Di. And, I always, now and again, I always think about what she would have become if she had actually not died at the scene in Paris. And I really, as an English person, because it hits home, I do really miss her. And she was actually a nice change for the royal family.
Yes.
She actually did her own thing, and she was just a really, really sweet lady.
Yes.
And she actually volunteered and, headed up many charities. And, her sons, William and Harry, they've kind of followed in her footsteps. And I love the fact that everything they do, they always try to incorporate the memory of their mother into it somehow. Yes. Which is really great because she's not forgotten. Even though she's long past, she's not forgotten. So it kind of, it's very sad. I find it sad because I wish that she had, she was still around.
Yes, I agree. There's some really great women in the world. And this is a very good segue because I was thinking to myself recently, where are the girls on nighttime, primetime television? I remember when Jay Leno and what is that man's beautiful name?
David Letterman. I can see the glasses and I'm going, what is his name? And David Letterman, were
some said they retired, some said they were forced out. Anyway, they went away, and a new segment of guys like Jimmy Kimmel,
Jimmy Fallon, James Corden from England.
I love his accent. And they all started, taking over nighttime, and I kept thinking, where are the girls?
Where are the women? Yeah, you're right. Now I come to think of it, like, what woman has there been that's actually hosted a primetime late night show? And I'm trying to think.
I think Chelsea Handler did it for a little bit.
That's right. Chelsea Handler did it for a while, but now she's not there anymore.
Right. I know she just recently wrote a book, and in her book she talks about life will be the death of me. I think that's the title of the book. And either she has been or she's going to be on. Busy Phillips has a new show that's called Busy Tonight.
And who's Busy Phillips? I've never heard of her.
She is a comedian, so she is someone like The Boys, where she could interview people and, do comedy and, just make it a fun event for all to experience. I just think that's very interesting. Come on, girl power. We have to figure out how to get us some girls, and not on, no disrespect to Netflix or YouTube or anything like that. How do we get them on nighttime, prime time at the same time as the guys, so we could see, can a woman match the level of audience and participation that the boys are currently experiencing?
Absolutely correct. Yeah, we need a woman. Now, if you are listening or watching out there, and you know of like any ladies that have been in primetime TV late at night, just, comment below and let us know, because I don't remember anyone. Yeah. And you're right, Chelsea Handler is probably the only one that I know, but I don't really know if she was even really that primetime.
Yeah, because I'm thinking her show was either like, say, midnight or later, like 11:30 p.m. or something like that. I don't remember when the shows roll up, because I remember one of my favorite primetime nighttime shows was Arsenio Hall. Oh. I would be dead dog tired the next day at work, but I had to wait. So I had to stay up and watch Arsenio.
But he was only there for a short split second. I mean,
he came back. Previously, he had been on for years. And then some kind of controversy happened between him and the networks, where he put Farrakhan on his show, and they told him, if you do this, there will be consequences. And he did it anyway. And I guess the consequences is that he went away, and he was gone away for years. It's going to be really interesting, because he and Eddie Murphy did a movie called Coming to America. Yep. They have just wrapped the new Coming to America 2.
Really? Yes. I didn't even know about this. Yay! For all of you out there that have seen Coming to America from that era, that's me.
Yes. So I
will be the one. I'm excited now.
So there's going to be a 2. And I mean, I can't wait. I'm like, how do you pick it up? I mean, we know that they were getting married, but did they get, did it go all the way? Do they have babies? Are they in his native land? Are they still in New York?
What took them so long? That's all I want to ask.
Yes,
what took them so long?
Yes. Yeah. So let's get some girl power in there. And speaking of like comedians like that, we just also wanted to pay a little homage to Tim Conway. If you ever wanted to laugh uncontrollably, Tim Conway was the person to watch. He was on the Carol Burnett show. And later he did other types of sitcoms. For me, he would always do things to make the people in the skits with him come out of character. So if, say, they were, he did this one skit I loved. Harvey Korman was the patient at a dentist's office, and he was in the chair, and Tim was the dentist, and he was telling him about the procedure and the process, and he says, I'm just gonna give you a little shot. Well, when he does that, he accidentally sticks his hand with the injection of the Novocaine, so then his hand goes numb, as it would be if he had given it in his mouth. And after that, he accidentally sticks himself in the leg. So now his leg is numb, his arm is numb, and he's trying to do things, kind of, nilly-willy. And Harvey Korman is like trying to stay in character. I'm supposed to be a patient, here to see the dentist. And at one point, he has to put his hand over his mouth because he's laughing so hard. And that is one of the beauties of Tim Conway. He brought so much joy. He could make any situation funny. And I think that is going to be a tremendous loss to the world because we need joy. We need laughter.
We do. And I didn't know who Tim Conway was because I was not raised in the U.S. But now I do. And yeah, that's a great loss.
Yes, it really is. So I tell you, this has been so much fun, us getting together once again, doing our girl thing.
Chit-chatting and talking about whatever comes up. Whatever's
Absolutely.
out there in the social media, whatever we can discuss. It's funny and sometimes serious.
Yes, absolutely. So, in closing, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, and if you'd like to watch more of our chats, subscribe below. And thanks for tuning in. And remember to always keep smiling.
Bye.
Bye now.